Welcome to the Horse Speak Book Club. I'm Laura Wilsey, and we are embarking on a journey through the Horse Speak Trilogy. The Horse Speak team is dedicated to giving horses a voice and being their well-deserved advocates. We offer online courses and weekly video club that is based on evidence-based knowledge of equine body language that is intrinsic, observable, and repeatable. So, if you would like to learn more about what we offer, check out our website at horsepeakacademy.com. So let us begin, page 135. Joe story in hand. Joe's prior training before he met me, Sharon, targeted his physical movement. The conversation Sharon had so far with him told her what he does not understand and where he reacts emotionally. Sharon's work returned to Joe with leading skills and some of his basic ground manners. Mike and Liz, his owners, say they feel better about their interactions with Joe, and he seems genuinely interested in everything they do with him. They have a new understanding about his needs, wants, and intentions. When Sharon approached his stall, she could see how his facial expressions compared to her last visit. His eyes are brighter, his head, while still held high, is facing her as soon as she enters into the barn. He is already he has already started breathing in her scent. She began breathing in his scent by huffing breath in his direction. She did 3 huffs, then she did a snort blow through her nose. Like Sharon makes the nurturing breath, which sounds like she's clearing her nose with a backward inhale. Her friends approach each other, horse friends approaching each other will make an array of sniffing, huffing, and nose blowing noises before even getting close. By making these huffs and sounds, Sharon is telling Joe she is happy to see him too. Joe's high head, wide eyes, and sense of eagerness remind her of a child that is happy to see her. Joe nods his head, welcoming her into his bubble of personal space. He is already reaching his nose out toward her as she walks to him. Everything in his body language is telling her he is eager to have her closer to him. This is a far cry from their last meeting. We sail through the greeting ritual and enjoys Copycat. He knows her and he wants to follow her. On the third knuckle touch, he gently arches his neck and lips the back of her hand and arm slowly and deliberately saying, I want to groom you. She can't help but smile at his sweetness. She reaches up toward his neck and withers and gives him a satisfying scratch. She held out her other hand in front of him and he lips it tenderly. She gets his halter and steps into his stall. She asks him to step back and yield his space to her. Then she asks him to step over toward the wall using his go away face button and shoulder button with only her fingertips. He steps lightly and gently over and away from her space, holding his head straight and low. He is saying, I am totally willing to do that, what you want. Do you see me holding very, very still? I am a good boy. Her parody in his voice to his owners, who laugh and tell him out loud, Yes, Joe, you are being a very good boy. Joe seems to catch the humor because he looks up at his owners and his ears flop to the side as he yawns. He shares their good mood. Now Sharon turns and presses her back up against his shoulder and asks him to get into the horse hug position to put on his halter. Most people face a horse to halter him. There is nothing wrong with this. However, in Joe's case, Sharon knows the halter causes him a bit of tension. She might still instill a new attitude about the halter with this approach via the hug position. Joe drapes his head across her chest almost immediately and with only a tiny hesitation. Sharon strokes his face, then let go, repeating the hug a few more times. She strokes his neck and mane and up to his poll from where she was standing at his shoulder. Then she strokes his ears and between his ears to his forelock. Sharon discovers that stroking all these areas from behind the head encourages the horse to let go of tension. Horses rub their necks on each other in these places, and bulls do a great deal of neck rubbing in this way on their mothers. Nancy?
Slipping the halter on causes Joe to tense up slightly, so she repeats the procedure a few more times until he is more relaxed. She explains to his owners that the more tension she can get out of him now, the more likely he will stay calm as they go for a walk. She uses inner zero, breathing deeply and imagining a smile inside. She wants Joe to find his zero too. Breakthroughs happen at zero. Although there are many techniques, tips, and tricks that all have value, horses heal and move into a better place when they find their inner zero near us. Otherwise, training techniques just pull the rug over the dirt on the floor. The dirt is still there, you just can't see it. Leaving the issues inside a horse and layering training over the top of them does not work in the long run. You cannot force relaxation on a horse, but you can be at zero within and hold that space so horses can join you there. Sharon wants to present a calm inner state that encourages Joe to join her before they leave the safety of his stall. She takes a few steps backwards in an O beckoning posture. She welcomes Joe into her space. As Joe follows her in a circle around his stall, she'll place her feet deliberately, anchoring each foot to the ground before she moves the other foot. She's asking him to match steps, which creates clarity about what her feet are doing. Horses follow the sounds of each other's feet. Horses that are emotionally unstable benefit from a peaceful herd mate that moves slowly and clearly. As Joe follows her, he lowers his head as if to study each step she takes. He mimics her stride, how high she lifts her knee, and the exact speed she moves. Before she stops, she pivots, then clearly brings both feet side by side and a stomp to stop. He brings his front feet directly up behind hers and halts. She has a set up maneuver. She has set up the maneuver so that her back is towards him with his shoulder close. She can invite his head over her own shoulder and move easily into a horse hug. She wants Joe to have a completely different conversation with her about walking together than any he has had before with a human. They step out of his stall and into the aisle. Joe's attention shifts in anticipation of what is out there. She is not surprised, but she must interrupt this pattern immediately. She stops both her feet and emphatically steps into his space so that he must step backwards. He is confused, but matches her steps. As we begin to walk forward again, he pays closer attention to her feet and movement. To keep our time together light and interesting, she pauses mid-stride and suspends her foot in the air. He's not sure what to do, so after he places his front foot down, he lifts it up again and sort of swings it back and forth.
Laughing. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Laughing, Sharon places her foot down deliberately. Now Joe is realizing this could be a game. He likes games. She steps backward, and so does he. She steps forward 3 times, then crosses her feet sideways, and so does he. She suspends her foot a few more times, and he tries to hold his up as well. His owners enjoy their antics. They've never seen this big horse so attentive to someone's feet. Sharon calls this fun with feet. As they approach the barn door to go outside, she feels Joe speed up, sees his head go up, and notices his eyes begin to stare fixedly at what's beyond the door. She decides to have an approach and retreat conversation about the barn door. She makes the interaction about matching steps, not about going somewhere in particular. This follows the protocol Joe's mother set for him. She would move off into the world only when she knew he would follow her feet. Young horses race around and check out all the surprising things in the world, then run back to their mothers. However, if Mum blows a sentry breath and raises her head, the games are off. Baby Joe would have stuck to her flank and kept his feet in exact time with his mother's when told to do so. They begin their approach to the door again. Sharon stops, lifts her gaze up to the boogeyman in the far distance, and blows a sentry breath. This tells Joe that for the moment, he should stick with her. Then she relaxes and pretends to chew gum. Now she can move forward through the door and outside with determination. She's let Joe know that he's safer listening to her, and he's starting to believe her. He is a playful and thoughtful horse that worries about the big wide world. It may feel good to him to rely on her for his safety.
Thank you. Danuta?
Sorry, was that me?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, the dog distracted me.
Oh, no worries.
Where are we?
Page 138 is starting with for now.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first paragraph.
For now, Joe's following my feet and my ideas. Next, Sharon introduces use of the lead rope. He still has a tendency to pull on it or resist it, which is his lifetime habit. Sharon asks Joe for the therapy backup first. This puts him into a relaxed posture and makes him more open to the next step. She uses the go-away face and shoulder buttons to ask him to step sideways. Although she has done this in his stall, this is the first time she's used it with him. She's used it with him outside. Joe acts a bit sticky with his sideways request. He also puts his ears back and swishes his tail. A tail swish means, no, I don't like this, or stop it. I duly note his tail swish and his negative ears, but Sharon also sees that he makes an effort to comply. Joe is conflicted. He is enjoying the conversation and feeling understood, and he is grateful that Sharon is communicating with him. But we have zoomed in on a problem area. For whatever reason, Joe does not feel that he can completely let go and let Sharon outrank him. If he does, it means he must follow her lead, no matter what else. Essentially, he has allowed her to play the game of outranking him without fully committing himself to it. Sharon does not expect him to buy into her ideas right off the bat. Friendships require the test of time and repetition to prove that they are real. All this means that she has to repeat the sideways yielding conversation later. She coaches his owners, suggesting that they plan to have it with him dozens of times in predictable ways that are free of negative emotion. Like when coaxing a fearful child into the pool, we will all have to stay just open and positive until Joe sees no matter what, we won't let them down. Since Joe liked matching steps and fun with feet, Sharon uses them for their walk together. She takes a number of steps forward that are like steps in a marching band, then stops and changes direction, beckoning, then asking him to back up and yield his front feet sideways. Every few minutes, they pause and rest. Each time they halt, she cups or scratches his neck. She acknowledges any boogeyman that he sees and blows it away. She also pretends to chew gum. Her conversation sounds like this. Sharon: Joe, I want to walk 3 steps forward, then step to the side and back up 1 step. Joe: Okay, but I want to run to my pasture so I can get my next designated safe spot in this world. Sharon: I know, but you're doing very well. Let's stop and breathe and share space together in the middle of the driveway. This spot can be a new safe spot. Joe: I'm trying. This is hard, you know. There are boogeymen everywhere. I trust you, but I've never been able to tell anyone about how worried I get. Sharon, I know. As soon as you match steps with me without running away, pulling on the rope or pulling back, we will go straight to your paddock. Is that it?
Yes, thank you, Violet.
Finally, we arrive at Joe's paddock, and as I open the gate, we have stayed in step with each other. I do not allow Joe to simply barge into the pen. Instead, I ask him to take the same tiny steps I make. Once we are in the paddock, I take a moment to share space with him before I turn him loose. I wait for Joe to lower his head and blow out his breath. Sorry, I'm really concentrating. It's hard to keep
No,
Sharoning.
no, it's fine. It does get a little confusing. Just
We
you
sta-
be you.
we stand there in silence. I mean, this is so resonating with my experience with Rico.
Oh, perfect.
All the things that need to learn to do with him. We stand there in silence for a full moment of breathing before I reach over and slip off his halter. Wow. Our conversation has ended, so I swish my tail at him by using my hand to swat once down by my leg. I turn slightly away from him and stomp one foot. Many of us have seen horses do this. In horse language, I just said, "We are done going somewhere. Our connection is over." It's important to remind Joe I'm still his leader. I govern how we close our activity together. Joe should not just run off and end our connection. I will do it. He swishes his tail as I leave to acknowledge this. Joe moves off a little ways, then has a nice roll. His owners remark that usually when they turn him loose, he runs off and blows off steam. They always enjoy seeing his spunky energy. They ask why he is different this time. I explain that although his spunk seems like fun to watch, it is a sign of his insecurity. All horses will kick up their heels and play sometimes, but they should feel safe with us and should not begin the day running away. Whew. Joe inspects his hay and water, then comes to the fence where we are standing. He hangs his head and softly looks at us. His lips are quivering, a sign that he is feeling happy. Mike instinctively moves to him and rubs his face, reporting Joe never acts this way. Mike and Liz are no longer labeling separate behaviors and feeling blinded to his genuine confusion about life. They can now see how seemingly random events are all connected and part of a bigger picture. They are also able to see why more or different training techniques have not helped with Joe. Most of all, they no longer feel like they are failing or are bad horse people, as though Joe's problems were a reflection of their skills. His owners express how awful it must have been for Joe to be so confused this whole time. Joe's issues were never tied to some elusive lack of training, but were thoughts and feelings that were lost in translation to his humans. Animals have their own minds. They feel affection, pleasure, connection. They have wants and needs. They feel fear, pain, and protectiveness. We are all mammals, and we have similar innate drives. Learning a horse's language puts us in touch with our own deeper sense of self. We live in such a speech-oriented society. Our own body language is in there, and we loosely refer to it in certain gestures. However, I have found in my work with people and their horses that our body language has become sort of vanilla. We have a generic association with a few gestures. Horses live in a world in which their thoughts and feelings can only be conveyed through their gestures, postures, and intensity levels. The same posture can mean two different things when one horse is breathing differently from the other. Observing the subtlety of their realm is quite a journey, one Joe's owners are just discovering. Joe's personality indicates that he is immature. He wants constant reassurance about boogeymen and constant connection that is easy for him to read. Because of this, extreme footwork is going to be an essential part of helping him gain confidence. Horses that are nervous or seem ungrounded and flighty need to follow the feet of their leaders even more than other horses. Stoic horses may enjoy marching along and matching steps because this is very satisfying and important for the herd. But a stoic horse does not need matching steps in the way that Joe does.
Can you just finish out the section, please, Violet?
Sure.
Thank you.
When I haltered Joe again in his paddock and walked back toward the gate, Joe is matching steps well. I hand him over to his owners and have them practice moving in time with him. It is important to move your feet in predictable and audible ways, but not to move too fast. Slow, loud steps are essential in helping a horse like Joe drown out all other distractions. His head gets lower as he begins to relax. While it is true that we can teach horses to lower their heads, a lower head will naturally happen when the horse feels calmer and trusts the connection with the people around him. Finally, Joe's owners march Joe back into his stall without too much fuss. He is making progress in letting go his lifelong habit of being afraid. I ask Mike and Liz if they have ever lunged or round-penned Joe. They reply that he can be terrible on the lunge, and they once took him to a round pen clinic. But the next time they put him in their round pen at home, he tried to jump out. They often lunge him before riding to get his bucks out, even though he occasionally zooms around at top speed and is hard to stop. They are quick to add that when all is well, he can be a dream to ride. He is really sensitive and aware. He does not fight and loves to jump. If he spooks while under saddle, however, he has been known to take off bucking. Trail riding is difficult because he is so spooky. They try to take him out with other horses, which usually helps. I am not going to train Joe to stop bucking or go on trail rides, nor am I going to round pen or lunge him in the ways most people might use these methods. My next step is indeed in the round pen, but I am not even going to be in the pen with him. I am going to turn him loose in there and talk to him about following my lead and the lead of his people. Once Joe gets on board with the idea that humans can and will share the worries of the world with him, and, in fact, help him to feel safe and relaxed, I believe Joe will do anything I ask. I have Mike march Joe over to the round pen. Joe does fairly well. I can see the great effort he is putting into catching himself before he freaks out instead of staying with his owner's steps. The wind picks up and a tin can falls and rolls near the back door of the barn, which is now behind Joe. He shoots right up in the air, but lands again, splay-legged and shivering, as Mike stomps his feet and spontaneously blows a sentry breath toward where the noise came from. Joe immediately ducks his forehead into the area of Mike's chest and tries to take a big breath. Mike chews gum and strokes his big head tenderly. They just passed a test together, and both of them experience the dawning realization that things will be different now. And I'm about to cry. That's so sweet.
Beautiful. Yes, this is absolutely stunning. When you're available, I think you might want to comment on what we read today because this is powerful. This section, because when we understand horses from their perspective, it changes everything, which is one of our mottos. And the thing, the section on page 139, the column number 2, I feel like is the keynote of what we're actually doing here with Horse Speak, where the owners, Mike and Liz, are no longer labeling separate behaviors and feeling blinded to his genuine confusion about life. They can see now how seemingly random events are all connected in a bigger part of a bigger picture. They are also able to see why more or different training techniques have not helped with Joe. Most of all, they no longer feel like they are failing or bad horse people, as though somehow Joe's problems were a reflection of their skills. And so the other part that I thought that was poignant here is because animals have their own minds. They feel affection, pleasure, connection. They have wants and needs. They They feel fear, pain, and protectiveness. We are all mammals and we have similar innate drives. Learning a horse's language puts us in touch with our own deeper sense of self. We live in such a speed-oriented society. Our own body language is in there, and we loosely refer to it in certain gestures. However, Sharon has found that with the work of Horse Speak and people, that horses see our body language has become sort of vanilla. Horses live in a world in which their thoughts and feelings can only be conveyed through their gestures, postures, and signals, and intensity levels. And this is one of the main points that I wanted to also bring in, is the same posture can mean two different things when one horse is breathing differently from another. Observing the subtlety of their realm is quite a journey. So with that being said, our own breathing patterns as humans can tell us a story too. And a lot of us have a bad habit of shallow breathing. We have some big lung capacity, but for reasons, some of us have stress, fear, anxiety, all those negative thoughts and feelings that could hinder us from actually breathing. And so the thing to notice is the intensity level of how a horse is moving. If they throw their head down really quickly, that's a high intensity rather than lowering their head at a slower speed. So the thing is that what we're trying to do here with Horse Speak is exactly the thing of most of all, the Joe and Mike and Liv no longer feel like they are failing or bad horse people. It's misunderstandings is really the bottom line of where we're coming from with Horse Speak from an ethological standpoint, which is studying equines in their natural environments, which like we studied wild herds and also we have domestic herds, right? So it is understanding that they are having thoughts, feelings, they're concerned about the safety and well-being of themselves as well as the herd. And so training is let's do a thing, which is beautiful. Let's jump a jump, let's go for a trail ride, let's take a walk in the woods, what have you. But then seeing it from their perspective, there are horse-eating squirrels out there that spook them. So it's their environment is the number one thing. If they don't feel safe, the house is on fire as a metaphor, you can't have a conversation. So internally, they can be having a boogeyman, and it could be about the environment or about something within themselves. I don't like that halter. Oh, the saddle's coming out, things are changing. So the more that we understand them from their perspective and knowing that they're a thinking, feeling being, then that can take the stories out of our head that we are not doing good enough. And it's so important to see what they're seeing. And if we are an empathic person, feel what they're feeling. Sometimes when, we get into the bubble of personal space with a horse, our body is feeling that. It's nervous system on nervous system. If you've walked into a room and, and then there's all these people sitting down and staring at you, you might have butterflies in your belly, like, why is everyone staring at me? Or if you're in a room and someone walks through the door and you're like, there's something about that person, so we're all nervous systems and mammals that are behaving similarly. And you can, we all have one stomach, horses or equines and people. So then our digestion is also similar. So there's a lot of things that are so, mirroring each other that we need to be mindful of when we're sharing spaces with horses. So I'm going to read some chats, and then I see Danuta and Violet, you have your hand up. So let's see here. I love the bit that animal have their own minds. Bethy certainly has. Yeah, right? Yeah, and they have opinions too, right? They're like, nope, I don't like that, or I'm not ready. A lot of things we're trying to have people understand that the horse might not be ready right now. So how can we do some enrichment to help the horse be ready? Just think how many different ways you can say shut up. It can be angry, fearful, affectionate, embarrassed, etc., etc. Same words, different meanings. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that in, Danuta. Before studying horse speak, I didn't realize that many horses don't feel secure while being sent out to the outside edge of the round pen. Sharon teaches reverse round pen by taking the outside railing of the round pen, making sure it is a secure place to be. Yes, because from a horse speak perspective, the protector takes the edge. And so if you are in the middle of a round pen doing that activity, then you're asking the horse to protect you, and you are the weaker one in the middle. So yeah, watching who is on the edge of any kind of, whether it's a paddock or their stall or, indoor arena, who's taking the edge. So it's interesting. I guess two horses in a stall really isn't a thing, but just being mindful about the 3 to 5 feet away from any kind of enclosure where horses are, the protector will be typically standing there. So let's see. Danuta, you're unmuted and you can ask your question or comment.
Hi. Okay, so I would just like to say how describe an experience that I had. So I was stitching the buttons on Bethy, and she was not liking it. She basically said, "You do that again, and I will kick you," which is very unusual for Bethy. So I said, "Fine, okay, we'll do it at a distance, blah blah blah." And then I did the same to Lucy, and Lucy seemed to enjoy it, which was surprising. And anyway, the next morning I was like, they were waking up, and I went to sort of stand with them, and I was like waking up with them, sort of stretching and yawning or whatever. And then Lucy comes along and she walks right under Bethy's head and neck. Like, so all her top buttons brushed against Bethy. And I thought, oh, this is strange, interesting. Yes. And then Lucy walks straight up to me and she does a really tight circle around me. She's brushing me with all her body. And then she stands there. So I put my hand on her wither and on her sit button. And because it just felt right to do so, I put my face on her hip because she's only little. And we just stood there and breathed for ages.
Mm.
And then I sort of turned around and so I had to look what her face was doing. And she was licking and chewing a bit. And I had my arm around her shoulder, around her girth, and my other hand on her shoulder. And we just stood there and breathed for ages.
Mm.
And then she gave me a hug, like put her head over my head,
Mm.
like that. And then that was enough. And then she went and shook it off and but I'm sort of like, why did she do that?
Mm.
Why did she go under Bethy first before she came to me? That's the thing that gets me. I can understand that she wanted to connect with me,
Mm.
but why do that with Bethy? Because that was very deliberate. There was plenty of
Right.
space.
Yes. Yes, of
It
course.
wasn't random.
Yeah, so for me, it's like she walked underneath saying, follow my lead, basically. Watch what I'm going to do. Because that's
Uh-huh.
like basically like scooping up all of Lucy's buttons. Like she was giving, Lucy was highly vulnerable. And even when a horse, and
No,
if,
no, no. It was Lucy who did that to Bethy.
right, she,
Lucy,
from what the picture was Lucy was going underneath Bethy's neck.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that is vulnerable. And technically, from a hierarchy standpoint, like the weaker one, like a baby, would go underneath the mama's chin neck area.
mm,
But it's like, okay, Bethy, watch what I'm gonna do. And she's just basically like wanting her to follow. I'm gonna give you
yeah.
all of my buttons. Follow me, all the top line buttons, and follow me and watch what I'm doing. And so it was like a lesson for Bethy
Oh,
because of the
that's what I
memory.
thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was so deliberate that she then showed basically, so what I heard you saying is that Lucy basically ran all of her buttons along you too.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was like she was doing the same thing to the point where you, for our, fantastic terminology, chicken wing, you held her.
Yes, and
So,
it I sort of felt that she was connecting us both,
yeah, yes,
but that was just amazing.
yeah,
Absolutely amazing. I'm just so grateful to you guys, honestly, because it's just made the world of a difference to
yeah,
be able to actually understand all this stuff.
yeah. And
And
it's
what,
not by accident.
no, exactly.
Like they are so
Exactly.
deliberate and they know, like, Lucy knows that you're having some different things going on with Bethy. And so Lucy's like, just watch me and mom hang out and have a nice day. That's all she's trying to do with you is just have a nice day, sharing breath, sharing, sounds like you're leaning right on Lucy. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep the name straight. And just breathing and being nervous system with nervous system. And that
Yeah,
it's like Lucy saying to Bethy, it's just like this. Thank you, PJ. What it's his Lucy said to Bethy, follow me not only in movement, but in softness, in regulation. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
so cool. So then it sounds like Bethy is the more maybe trying some rock the baby with the top line buttons from a
Hmm.
distance. So palm
Hmm.
toward follow me, neck, like all the top line to spend some time at each button. And then um, you could go from wither, well, excuse me, jump up to wither. It's like, don't worry, be happy. It's kind of how we're putting that together because we're watching with the baby videos that we're watching with the webinar series that we have. Our last recording is this Saturday. Your horse's first teacher, we're seeing Winnie do that a lot with Roslyn from jump up to wither. And so it's this kind of a cool combination that we've been exploring. And then PJ brings in be how I am, not just where I'm going. Yes. Yes. Be like, and so it's like Lucy is saying, Bethy, mirror me, mirror this experience. So it'll be interesting as time goes on doing some, sharing space at a distance with Bethy to see if that can help her. Because sometimes, with our muley, Miss Lacey, she is like really not into touch, but we've been doing a lot of stuff at a distance. So, the distance hand, palm toward, and even noticing if she wants palm toward or the back of your hand, because the palm can also be pressure, so that'll be kind of interesting. And just
Yeah.
that feeling, you got that feeling from Lucy, through your body. So it'll be neat to try to have that same feeling that Lucy gave to you to share with Bethy.
I did try with Bethy. So I was doing some fun with reins with her today.
Yep.
And I was putting my hand on the wither and on her jump up and just like, as Sharon suggested, just standing there still and breathing. And she did start to enjoy it. It was just a little bit,
Yep.
but it just starts. So like, I did it like for 3 breaths and I stepped away and just like did all shucks
Yep. That's
and just
cool.
like, yeah. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Beautiful. And you're able, because, if you're doing rein work, then you are at the girth in the wither area, you're touching, so that's really beautiful. Good
Well,
job.
we'll
And
get
these
there in the end.
small little things. This is where, when we do have a horse who is troubled, we are in emotional rehabilitation. So we are like having gratitude for these little successes, because all
Oh,
these little nuggets, right, add up to a bigger picture. And you're experiencing that with, some of your horses. It's been really neat to be involved with your evolution with them.
I hope to give you a video of me and Dandy. It'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Look forward. Awesome, Danuta. Well, thank you so much for sharing and reading today. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. You have a good night's sleep. We'll talk to you in the morning.
Yeah, sure will.
All right. Cheers. Okay. Violet but maybe Lucy was also showing Danuta that she wanted her own buttons touched, knowing this gesture with Bethy would get Danuta's attention. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for bringing that in. All right, Violet, you're on you're on
Oh,
the audio.
so so this 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 part of the Joe story just reminded me so much of Rico.
Mm,
Just everything, all the spookiness and the thresholds and the getting to the paddock and tearing his head away. And I had made a lot of progress with that in the past, like turning him out, like getting him to sort of relax and just wander away instead of running away. But then I wasn't putting him out lately, so he's kind of regressed. But what really caught my attention was the matching steps.
mm.
And I know I try to match steps with him, but I never get the feeling that he's paying attention to my steps. Like he doesn't, like if I stop and then try to move just one foot and get him to move one foot, he just doesn't seem to have a clue. Like, and I just wondered if you had any thoughts about that. Or, I mean, I noticed in this story she does it in his stall
Right.
first, but I don't know. I could try
Yeah.
that with Rico. He's a
Oh,
little,
but I appreciate you bringing this in, because that was one of the moments that I so basically the picture that I got in my head about him, coming out of the stall, and any thresholds that we're doing with horses, especially if it is a high energy horse, that we start with 3 therapy backups. And so doing just even a lean, because we're asking, I would like to have the front end space before you move into it. So we basically can do, fun with feet by doing a step back and then taking a step forward. And we call it the cha-cha. If you're on the video club, you can check out Sharon's doing the
well,
cha-cha with Rocky. And so it's 1 step back, 1 step forward, 1 step back, 1 step, and do that 3 times. So then when you're ready to go, you've already started matching steps with the backup. So then if he is, going too fast, the other thing is to be like, you want his follow me button basically below your eyes. So then he is following your lead too with his mind. So noticing his head height is going to give you a story. So if his head is above you, then he is, he's more in his X posture. So having your hand when you're leading, say if you have your left hand has all the lead rope and this one is free to talk to the buttons. So then be follow me down and just that kind of motion, circle, circle, circle down, or even be like, and your eyes with me. Because I have to do that with Luna because she can get a little bit overwhelmed with the environment, especially if they're mowing across the street or, the hennies are doing something. It's just like, eyes with me, I've got you. Let's be together. And that's been really profound, even to the point where having your hand up a little, the inside hand, so your right hand, if you're on the left side, is up higher than his follow me button. So then he has to bring it down. And when we do anything like this, above our head with our arm, the goal is to have the energy, have the strength come from our core versus holding up our arm by the muscles of our shoulder because our shoulder is going to get tired. So the more we can core up and then here, then I can hold my arm much longer when I'm mindful for that second to make sure that I'm using my core energy versus the strength of my shoulder. So that could be something. The therapy backups before each threshold is huge. That's when Rocky got out of the hospital. He was a plow pony and he was just like, I'm going. And so it wasn't until I'm like, all right, 3 therapy backups before we leave, 3 therapy backups after we get out of the enclosure, and then our walks would be 100% different. So that could be something that you can try with him because then you are also matching the step with him. He's copying your, 1 step back. And it's not
Wow,
a penalty or anything, I'm just saying that for the public. Like whenever we do a therapy backup, it's therapeutic. It's not penalizing because we're having I like mama, like we mentioned here in this chapter, you know, it's on page 132nd, 37, the second column, where they're talking about how the baby needs to follow mom. And we would like, similarly, our horses to follow us like we are their mother. So it could be
wow,
something.
that is all really great. I want to try all those things.
Yeah.
I do sometimes try to do 3 therapy backups with him,
Mhm.
like before leaving the paddock in the evening.
Yeah.
And he'll do one, and then he's like, "No, I'm not doing anymore." And I mean, also he's in a rush to get into his hay and everything.
For sure.
But I
Yeah.
I don't like it's really hard to get him to do 3 things in a row.
Yeah. So then it'll be follow me, wither, sit. Follow
Okay.
me, feel better, sit down, take a load off. Like, so it's the top line buttons. We want all of that to relax because if he's, obviously this is a more of a challenging time. It's food, resources, and he, is like, I want to get going. And so the more so now he's gone into his head. His
Yeah.
head is going and it's like, boom. So follow me, neck, shoulder to your sit. All of you go back. So if you feel safe, being able to so if you're turning toward him, then your left hand is at the clip or at the halter to
Hmm.
ask for that extra therapy backup, and then pointing all your buttons like follow me all the way down to sit. So you're doing that rounded motion. So then you're
Yeah.
also getting your magnetic core activated by doing that motion too.
Um,
So it's like you're in my bubble, mister.
Cool. All right. I can't wait to go over to the barn and try these out.
All right,
We'll
cool.
see what happens. Thank you
Sounds
so
good.
much.
You're welcome, darling. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You bet. All right. And Maria,
Hi, good morning.
good morning.
Uh, so the horse that I ride, her name is Selkie, and she's a teenager. She's 15, but she acts very young and is very anxious. So I've been doing a lot of very slow work with her and waiting for her to get to comfortable points before going on. But I'm definitely at the beginning of my horse speak journey, and I've heard a few times of you and others mention the sentry breath,
Yes.
but with different combinations of things, sentry with lick chew, sentry with some huffs afterwards, etc. And I wondered if there was kind of a generic sentry breath for beginners that kind of works in all situations if we don't quite get the nuance of when to bring in the other components yet.
Sure. So basically, when we do alert or sentry, and we don't want to be, we want to mirror basically like what the horse is doing. So meaning like their head goes up and they're like, what? You know, and everything is up, like they're on their tippy toes, so to speak, and be like, Stop, mower, stop scaring my horse." And then the thing is to then from all the things you said, it's just to let it, we're done.
Okay.
So tail swish, one hand by, I'm doing it upward because my thigh is down here, but
Mhm.
tail swish, it's all clear. So it's
Okay.
up and then down. And then licking and chewing is this, everything is good. But if the horse is still fixated on what is going on in the environment, then there could really be something out there. Like they are
Mhm.
sensory, beings, and that's how they survive. So there really still could be something going on. And then, yes, from a more advanced perspective, it's like, is this an internal boogeyman? Like, is that horse like feeling unsure internally versus outwardly in the environment?
Mhm.
So, say if you're saddling, for example, everything is fine, and then you bring the saddle up, and then the head goes up,
Mhm.
that's typically about the saddle.
Yep.
And so,
Yeah.
the thing is, yeah, thank you, PJ. This would be a great thing for you to video for us because we do the video club on Tuesdays too. So
Mhm.
at 1 and 7 Eastern time. And so this is what we do. We analyze videos and give pointers on how we can help them with these whatever's going on. Because the thing is, there's moments, it's called active awareness. So they're giving us small little nuances before they actually have these moments too. So
Mhm.
it's just practice. Like that's the thing. Like we have been so used to just being like, oh, whatever, just make them do this, go through the spook or what have you. But there's so many little things that they're telling us along the way that we
Mhm.
are practicing to, notice. So
Yeah.
whether it's, observably or our body scan changes or um, we're on the ground and we see that they're not breathing,
Mhm.
so and if their ears are forward to like really forward, is the tail clamped? There's all different kinds of nuances that we're putting together a story that's happening for these guys. And the thing is, it's every moment is like there's so many changes when we watch the videos on the club and we're
Mhm.
doing slow watching like footfall, footfall, footfall. There's like facial expressions, everything is changing so quickly. So
Mhm.
that's why on this journey of understanding the equine body language is to film yourself and watch what's going on because it's really the only way that you're going to be able to glean as much as possible in the learning experience because so much is happening
Mhm.
with them, right? Like that I'm basically going to say it's almost impossible to really understand everything that's going on without filming it
Mhm.
and rewatching it. So yeah, we have like
Okay.
5 years of archive videos too. So you could watch Sharon and I till you turn blue in the face.
Sounds good to me. I just joined last night, by the way, so I'm looking
Perfect.
forward to digging in.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. You enjoy and keep us posted on how everything goes. But yeah, it's just that nuance. Don't go higher. And never ever anyone out there glow a sentry for no reason. Because that there's no reason to do that because that will startle your horse. So we don't want to do that by accident. I've had some folks say that I did a sentry and my horse got spooked. It's like, well, was the horse sentrying? And she's like,
Mm.
no, It's like, okay, well, we don't need to do that because we are also, we can scan the horizon, which is basically looking out and saying, yeah, I'm checking things out. All's good. But
Mhm.
doing the big sentry trumpeting, that's, we don't want to just activate that kind of, big energy. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you're welcome, darling. When we look forward to continuing the journey with you.
Thanks.
You bet. Cheers. All right, y'all, it's almost time to be done. I'm going to go through these chats really quick. Stopping to a stop is a fun game to play. Yes, it is. It's very, very good. Let's see. When you're doing three therapy backups, are you walking backwards and turning around when going forward? Yeah, it's you can turn a little bit. It's like you can do it two ways. One way would be to turn around and basically do what we call the cha-cha. One step forward, one step backward. One step forward, one step backward. Or you can do one backup, pause, and then do another one, pause, and then another one. It's like just having that pause period moment to then keep going. A therapy backup could even be a lean. Yes, not actually going in reverse. Absolutely. So especially if a horse, even with like Violet with Rico, having him even lean would be great. That's still like is moving himself backward. So we're not needing a step. A lean is perfect too. I have a horse with chronic sore back, so we do therapy backups daily. It took a while before he got the entire picture of doing what we're doing. So keep at it, even though it's a little messy, it will get better with practice. Yes, and if we have soreness with a horse, it's also being mindful that if their back is sore, just like us, if our back is sore, we want to say, I see you, and can I bring my palm toward those areas that you might be having some discomfort, because when we bring attention to, just like us, if we're seen for, I see that you're not feeling well today, that can just let alone help us feel better. It's like, the placebo effect. Let's see. Welcome. All right, perfect. Yes, and that's finishes up for today. It was a pleasure sharing space with you today, and we will be continuing the Horse Speak Tuesday day today at 1 and at 7 with our video club. So we'd love to have you with us. It's only $30 a month, and you have access to almost 5 years now of archived videos. So there's 600 hours of Horse Speak, and if you would like to learn more about what we're offering with the Horse Speak education, check out our website at horsespeakacademy.com, as we do online and in-person learning experiences. May you enjoy the journey of learning horse speak and have fun, which is the most important thing. While doing so, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, be well, and we'll see you next week.